So when we talk of building a temple unto God, we are not talking of a building. We are talking of building ourselves, edifying ourselves, growing in the Word of God, allowing the Spirit of God to lead and direct us so that our living can be holy and acceptable unto God. That's what we're talking about. So Haggai, when Haggai began to prophesy, Haggai chapter 1, you can go and read it. He said to them, consider your ways. Is this the time for you to be living in your sealed houses, in your well-paneled homes, whereas the house of God is not built? Go and get wood and build. Now, when we read that, we will think God is saying, go and build a church. No, that's not what God is saying. We must understand what God was saying to them, and when we bring it to the New Testament under the New Covenant, we must understand that what God is saying when we read Haggai, He's saying, you guys are spending so much time building your own physical homes, perfuming or creaming your bodies, but you are not paying attention to the spirit man where I dwell. Do you understand? So he's saying, go and bring wood, go and bring what is needed to build that body, to build me in you, to build that temple in you. What are those things? The Word of God, the Spirit of God, acts of obedience. These are the things that when we are doing, we are living right before God. The Bible tells us in, I think it's 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 2. 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 2. It tells us that we are to be sanctified by the Spirit of God unto obedience. The problem we had before we became born again was disobedience, stubbornness, and rebellion. We were never able to obey God, no matter how much we tried. So when the Spirit of God comes into our lives, He comes into our lives to sanctify us and make us able to obey God. That way, we can serve the living God.